Hey everybody, this is section E. So for this section, I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to start here towards the middle of the packets because we have a combination of positives and negatives. Remember, this would be a positive, this would be a negative. So that way we're doing both, plus we have some whole numbers, we have some fractions. So for part E, you're going to basically be doing using what you learned in parts A, B, C, and D, but you're doing it in reverse. So if at any time you don't understand how to do some of this, make sure you go back and you rewatch the videos from parts A, B, C, and D, wherever you're having trouble, and you're asking for additional help. Ideally, if you're at part E, you know how to do it all because you've gone through those. This is all individualized, so it's not group work. So that way, I can be assured that you know how to do it. If you're finishing part B, you know how to find a slope. If you're finishing part C, you know how to find a slope, and you know how to find a y-intercept. And you were able to use a graph to figure that out because you did parts B and you did part C where you learned how to do that. So let's look at this first one right here. So first of all, we're going to be graphing this. So this is y to reverse. So the first, in part D, you had a line, and then you had to come and create the equation. Now you have the equation, and you have to create the line. So the first thing I want to look at right here, I know this is my y-intercept. If you didn't know that that was the y-intercept, go back, redo part A. So y-intercept, because it's 4, I'm going to put a dot right on 4. So that's the first thing you do whenever you have one of these. Now, when I look at this, this is my slope. So it's not a negative 2, it's a positive 2. You don't include the x, so it's 2. So what 2 really means is 2 over 1. So from there, I know if I go up 2 over 1, it'll be right there. And I know it has that kind of slant. So I can also start to go backwards, go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. You might say, well, you're going down. It's not, well, look at the line. It still has that upward slant. So now what I can do is I can take my ruler and I can connect up the first and the last dot here. I want to make sure I have the arrows because it's a line, and that's all I need to do. So the big thing to remember is if it's a 2x, that's a whole number. You're right, the slope is 2, but when you're looking at its fractions, 2 over 1. So you go up 2 over 1. A common mistake is people will go up 2. Well, it's like, well, it doesn't say to go over. So do I go up 2 more up? Well, no, that's a straight line, straight up. It's got to have a slope of 2. So it's got to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So this next one is negative. So now I know my line's going to have a slant more like this. First things first, though, is I want to put that y-intercept here. I want to put it as a dot. So I'm going to put a dot right there and a negative 4. Now I know it's going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to go over 5. So I'm going to go this way. And the reason why I'm going to go this way is because, look, the line's going to have a slant of a negative line. A common mistake people will do is they'll go over here, well, then it's got a positive slope, but we know it's negative. So I always thought it was easier to graph, let me put my pencil on that line. I always thought it was easier to graph fractions because I know it's going up 4 over 5, up 4 over 5 versus whole numbers because it's 2 over 1. Now, keep in mind, what will happen, and I'm going to do another one on this. So what would happen if I had something like y equals 2x? And I said, okay, you have to graph it. You might be saying, well, where is the y-intercept? Remember, if there is no y-intercept, you would draw your dot right here at the 0. So again, it goes up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And I could draw that line in here. So if you ever see a line in slope-intercept form and there's nothing behind the slope, that means there is no y-intercept. So you put that dot and you start, it's got to go through 0, 0. So it's not, above it and not below it, it's right at 0, 0. The other words of caution, let's say you see something that looks like this, y equals, say, 3. Now in this case, you don't have a slope. There's no x there. So you have no slope, which means the line will go straight across. So if I ever have something like that, I come to y equals 3, and I just draw a line straight across. So those are the only other situations you might get involved with where you don't have a y-intercept, so just put the dot on a 0, or if you don't have a slope, that just means the line goes straight across. So y equals 3, that's your y-intercept, so go up to 3, put the dot, and then the line just goes straight across. So this is everything you need to know that should get you through this section, section E. Again, make sure you watch the video. It's not okay to look at the sheet and say, I don't get it, so I'm not going to do it. The only way you're going to learn how to do it is to try. So the videos will guide you through these. And then once you've watched the videos, come up and ask for additional support if you need it. Thanks. Bye.